Hello there, I'm Azaria Tagaya and you're watching Nightline, news making the headlines. New electricity tariff on January 1st, but 85% of domestic consumers not affected. And 5 companies fined 415 million ringgit for establishing chicken feed cartel. Good morning. 85%, including 7 million domestic users in Peninsular Malaysia, are not affected by the electricity tariff adjustment for the period of January 1st to June 30th next year. In a statement, the Energy Commission explained that 99% or 8.2 million domestic users still receive government subsidy. Domestic users with units of electrical consumption of 600,000 kilowatt hours and below will still receive a rebate of 2 cents for each kilowatt hour, whereas electrical units used exceeding 600 to 1,500 kilowatt hours are not charged. For electricity use exceeding 1,500 kilowatt hours, the surcharge remains at the rate of 10 cents. Based on this retargeting of subsidies, the government has allocated 1.9 billion ringgit in subsidies to the consumer categories involved. This is to minimize the impact of surcharges during the implementation period. Earlier, the Prime Minister said that the government guarantees that any announcement related to the targeted subsidy program is good for the people. Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said this includes targeting subsidies related to electricity tariffs.
Semua beri kalau pengumuman tentang penyasaran subsidi itu baik untuk rakyat. Ada satu hal yang saya nak sentuh.
Earlier, Anwar dined at a chicken rice stall in Kota Damansara with the Selangor Chief Minister, Datuk Seri Amiruddin Shahri. The Prime Minister, who arrived at the premises at about 1 p.m, also greeted other visitors in the area. There is no ulterior motive behind the recent seizure of a skyscraper by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said that the anti-graft agency's probe that led to the seizure of the 60-storey Ilham Tower was proof that they would investigate anyone regardless of their background and position.
Dan jangan buat tafsiran. Setiap kali kita sentuh orang besar, maknanya ada muslihat. Jadi kalau orang kecil yang ribuan kita sentuh, tak ada apa-apa. Jadi sistem apa macam tu. Kita bukan mewakili satu sistem yang bobrok. Sistem kita mesti menunjukkan contoh keberanian untuk bertindak kepada perasuah besar.
Anwar was speaking to the media after Friday prayers in Kota Damansara. He added that the authorities should be given leeway to carry out their investigations to uncover the truth. He added that the issue of wealth associated with certain leaders is not a new thing. Therefore, the investigation process needs to be carried out and then handed over to the judiciary. It was reported on Thursday that the MACC seized Ilham Tower under the MACC Act, which deals with the seizure of immovable property. The 60-storey building is linked to a corporate figure and former finance minister. The Malaysia Competition Commission, MyCC, has fined 5 companies a total of 415 million ringgit for forming a chicken feed cartel to fix prices. On top of the fine, MyCC also issued a cease and desist order instructing the companies to cease participation in the chicken feed cartel. The companies are Dindings, FFM, Gold Coin, Leong Hap and PK Agro. MyCC Chief Executive Officer Iskandar Ismail said the 5 companies, the country's biggest chicken feed producers, violated the Competition Act by having an agreement between them with the goal or effect of preventing, restricting or distorting competition in any market for goods or services. He said the companies were found to have conspired to do so via several platforms, including telecommunications records among their top management, meeting minutes and witness statements between January 2020 and June 2022.
Contohnya, ada WhatsApp di antara pekerja salah satu syarikat ni, antara 2 pekerja. Dia cakap, syarikat yang apa ni dalam kartel kita ni, dia kata yang merujuk dalam kartel ni, dia kata dia dah naikkan harga, kita bila lagi. Lepas tu ada panggilan telefon di antara mereka, syarikat A dan B, ya, C dengan D, ya, dan kemudiannya notis kenaikan harga kuantum tu berlaku keesokannya, ya. It's more than a coincidence.
Iskandar said it was MyCC's biggest fine to date since its establishment in 2011. Based on its investigation, MyCC said there are a total of 29 feed millers in the country and that the 5 infringing enterprises command about 40% of the total market share. He said the companies would raise the price of chicken feed by 1 ringgit to 2 ringgit per every 50 kilogram, either simultaneously or within a week of each other.
Fail Mahkamah merungkai kes-kes tergempar Malaysia. Laporan, siasatan serta prosiding kes yang telah dibicara ke muka pengadilan. Rangkuman kes-kes berprofil tinggi yang telah dipaparkan dalam fail mahkamah sepanjang 2023.
Government-linked investment companies, GLICs, and government-linked companies, GLCs, should mobilize efforts to support the country's aspirations as a world-class Islamic economic hub and investment destination. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said GLICs and GLCs should also increase investments in the digital and renewable energy sectors, as well as encourage the micro, small and medium enterprise sector, MSME, to expand their market to regional countries as outlined in the national aspirations. Anwar, who's also the finance minister, said this in a social media post on Friday. He said on Thursday he chaired a meeting with the chief executive officers of GLICs. The discussion was a prelude to the reform of GLICs and GLCs so that they are more focused on the development and well-being of the people, as outlined in the framework of Madani economy, empowering the people. He said among the suggestions that have been made are making better use of expenses from corporate zakat collection, establishing collaboration with the private sector to develop student accommodation, and mobilizing more funds for investment in unlisted companies in the small and medium enterprise SME sector. He noted that with the total size of assets under management worth 1.84 trillion ringgit, which is almost equal to the size of Malaysia's nominal gross domestic product GDP this year, GLICs are capable of moving and accelerating Malaysia's economy. Kuala Lumpur City Hall, or DBKL, will revoke or suspend the licences of traders found to be violating business regulations by renting out their premises to foreigners. Federal Territories Minister Dr. Zaliha Mustafa said traders should make the most of the licences that have been granted to them and not give them to foreigners to run businesses. She said this following the integrated operation carried out by the General Operations Force at Jalan Silang in Kuala Lumpur on Thursday, adding that the ministry was waiting for more information on the matter. Dr. Zaliha also said that more of such operations should be carried out at other locations in the city. She added that it is also one of DBKL's priorities to address the issue of illegal foreign traders in main business locations in the federal capital. On Thursday, police detained 1,101 undocumented migrants, including 2 children, and seized contraband worth 104,000 ringgit during the raid at Jalan Silang. The operation was aimed at curbing criminal activities around the area and the Kota Raya complex, especially those involving foreign nationals. The mother of a 2-year-old girl who died after she was left in a car for almost 8 hours last month has been charged with negligence at the Petaling Jaya Sessions Court. The mother of 3 pled not guilty when the charges, framed under the Child Act, was read to her before Sessions Court Judge Shahliza Warno. 38-year-old Nursari Fardiana Muhammad Amran faces a maximum penalty of jail of up to 20 years, a fine of up to 50,000 ringgit, or both if convicted. The charge read that on November 8th, she had left her daughter Iris Heidi Muhammad Hafiz, aged 2 years and 3 months, inside a car in Arada Mansara between 8 a.m. and 3:15 p.m., leading to the child's death. In previous news reports, Nursari Fardiana was said to have dropped off her 2 other children at school and had gone to a nursery to drop off the toddler but forgot to do so. Deputy Public Prosecutor Anis Hakimah Ibrahim offered bail at 15,000 ringgit with one shorty. However, lawyer Datuk Hanif Hassan, representing the accused, sought a lower amount, saying his client had been traumatized by her daughter's death, which also affected her business. The judge set bail at 7,000 ringgit with one shorty and ordered the accused to report to the nearest police station every month until trial starts. The case will be up for mention again on January 30th. In Johor, a couple were arrested after being suspected of giving drugs to a 1-year, 4-month-old baby boy believed to be their biological son. Iskandar Puteri District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Rahmat Arifin said the couple, aged 34 and 31, were arrested on December 12th. The complaint was received after Sultanah Aminah Hospital, Johor Bahru, made a report about the baby who tested positive for drugs. The baby's mother was detained at the hospital on December 12th, while her partner was detained at Jalan Saleh in the city. According to Rahmat, the urine test conducted on the couple also found that both were positive. Both have been charged in court on Thursday under the Child Act for causing a baby to test positive for drugs. However, they were unable to pay the bail set at 6,000 ringgit. The case will be mentioned again in the Johor Bahru Sessions Court on January 23rd. Japan finalizes record $54 billion defense budget for 2024. News from the foreign front when we return.
Jangan pandang ringan dan mudah. Anggap batuk awak ini serius. Woods ubat batuk dengan rasa pudina. Memberi sensasi kelegaan di kerongkong. Berkesan melegakan batuk. Woods, ubat batuk yang saya percaya.
Sound healing, a therapeutic tradition that has found resonance among those seeking balance and energy alignment.
It's like a vibrational massage, you know, and sound travels through water more than 4 times faster than the air. So the human body is made up mostly of water, so it travels right through us.
I think it's really good to explore, you know, the mental workout.
Unlike a guitar, sape, the resonance goes inwards to the player.
TV3 live stream in HD on Tonton.
Mereka hanya ada 7 hari untuk menyempurnakannya.
Are you with me? Let's bring it in! Come on! Let's do it!
Mengubah mimpi menjadi realiti dalam satu misi membina semula rumah yang baru.
Beautiful village we're making.
Got the custom tile in, cabinets are going in right now. Love it! Looking good!
Extreme Makeover Home Edition setiap Sabtu 12.30 hari. Stream sekarang ditonton dan di TV3.
Banyak lemak, pasti ramai yang berhadapan dengan masalah itu. Lemak berlebihan boleh menyebabkan pelbagai masalah kesihatan seperti obesiti dan penyakit jantung. Ada setengah orang yang mudah bakar lemak, ada juga yang sukar. Mengapa perkara ini berlaku? Apa pula perbezaan di antara lemak baik dan lemak jahat? Banyak lemak, perbincangannya dalam Hello Doktor Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Back with us on Nightline, the United Nations Security Council UNSC on Thursday once again postponed the long-delayed vote on a critical resolution for desperately needed aid to Gaza due to disagreements from the United States. This would mark the 7th time that the voting has been postponed. The latest draft calls for urgent steps to immediately allow safe and unhindered humanitarian access and also for creating the conditions for a sustainable cessation of hostilities. However, some nations want a stronger text as the latest draft removes calls for the urgent and sustainable cessation of hostilities, and given the significant changes, many countries said they needed to consult their capitals before a vote, which is now expected on Friday. Meanwhile, U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, said that if the resolution is put forward as is, then they would support it. She also denied that the draft had been watered down, saying it was, quote-unquote, very strong and fully supported by the Arab group.
As hopes faded for an imminent breakthrough in talks this week in Egypt aimed at getting warring Israel and Hamas to agree to a new truce, airstrikes, artillery bombardments and fighting were reported across the Palestinian territory. Israel's military on Friday ordered residents of Al-Bureij in central Gaza to move south immediately, indicating a new focus of the ground assault that has already devastated the north of the Strip and made a series of incursions in the south. Meanwhile, in the morgue of the Nasser hospital in southern Gaza, workers wrapped the corpses of people killed in Zionist airstrikes in white cloth. With most hospitals across Gaza now closed and hundreds of doctors and other health workers killed and communications hampered by lack of fuel and electricity, it is becoming increasingly difficult to compile the casualty figures. The ministry's toll stood at around 20,000 people on Friday, amid renewed international calls for a fresh ceasefire in the territory.
يعني كما ترى الآن في هذا المكان هذا هو أحد الشهداء مجهول الهوية له الآن ما يزيد عن أسبوعين في هذا المكان. هاي هنا كما ترى في هذه الحالة هنا قصف شارع الصيقلي في 16/12 اليوم تاريخ 20 يعني له 4 أيام لم يتم التعرف عليه. نفس الشيء هنا حالة قصف في شارع الصيقلي في 16/12 مجهول لم يتم التعرف عليه. دون ذلك كل الحالات يتم دفنها على الفور بعد التأكد من الشخصية من الأهل من الأقارب من البطاقة وإلى دون ذلك يبقى في هذا المكان.
4, 2, 1.
Japan on Friday finalized its record 7.7 trillion yen or $54.25 billion defense budget for fiscal 2024, the second consecutive year in which the country increased defense spending by about 1 trillion yen from the previous year. According to the Defense Ministry, the approved budget keeps Japan on track to boost military spending by 43 trillion yen over 5 years as it seeks to bolster defenses in a complex security environment with an increasingly assertive China and unpredictable North Korea. The 2024 budget represents an increase of about 17% from the previous year's spending of 6.6 trillion yen. It includes over 200 billion yen to strengthen cyber capabilities, as well as funding to start building ballistic missile defense warships with Aegis combat systems. Pakistan's Supreme Court on Friday has granted bail to former Prime Minister Imran Khan and one of his aides in a case related to an alleged leak of state secrets. A 3-member bench granted Khan and his deputy party leader Shah Mahmood Qureshi bail subject to surety bonds of $3,600 each. Khan's lawyer said it was not immediately clear if Khan would be released from jail as he has multiple arrest warrants issued against him in several other cases. Despite Friday's bail, Khan remains disqualified from contesting national elections scheduled for February 8th by virtue of the corruption conviction, which a high court refused to suspend on Thursday. However, the former Prime Minister still plans on filing his nomination papers ahead of a Sunday deadline. A Hong Kong court on Friday has rejected a bid by pro-democracy publisher Jimmy Lai to throw out a sedition charge against him as he faces a landmark national security trial. Judges Esther To, Susana de Almada Remedios and Alex Lee ruled that the sedition charge should stand. Lai's lawyers had argued that the charge should be dismissed as the prosecution failed to lay the charge within 6 months of the alleged offence. However, To, de Almada and Remedios and Lee ruled that a deadline did not apply as the conspiracy was a continuing offence and the clock did not start to run until the last date of the alleged conspiracy. Lai's trial, which has been heavily criticised by Western governments and human rights and press freedom advocates, is expected to last about 80 days. Al Hilal crushes Abha and remains on top of the Saudi Pro League. Sports after this breather.
Jangan pandang ringan dan mudah. Anggap batuk awak ini serius. Woods ubat batuk dengan rasa pudina. Memberi sensasi kelegaan di kerongkong. Berkesan melegakan batuk. Woods ubat batuk yang saya percaya. Aksi permotoran. Ngeri psikologi. Kekeluargaan. Seram komedi.
Aku nampak lembaga.
Adaptasi kisah benar. Satu destinasi untuk semua telefilm kegemaran anda hanya di Jurekarama TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Apabila datang, ia boleh mengambil alih kesemuanya tubuh, minda dan hidup anda. Stres bukan sekadar tekanan perasaan tetapi boleh mengancam kesihatan secara keseluruhan. Kenalilah tanda-tanda stres sejak awal dan bincang mengenainya secara terbuka. Dapatkan sokongan moral dan emosi daripada orang di sekeliling anda serta bantuan profesional di saluran yang betul. Saksikan Hello Doktor Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3.
Nak naik pangkat, kena belajar bahasa Inggeris dulu.
대학 안 나와도 엑서사이즈 할 수 있는 거야? 됐고, 3달 안에 토익 600을 어떻게 넘냐?
We can do it! Yes! No.
Tapi macam ada rahsia yang tak kena je.
넘어가면 안 될까요? 패널 콸콸콸 나왔는데.
Selamat datang ke Sam Jin Company English Class. Ahad ini 3 petang. Di Magnificent A TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports, football and the Saudi Pro League. Al Hilal showcased an exceptional performance, trashing the visitors Abha with a spectacular 7-0 win and extending their lead at the top of the league.
The scoring frenzy started when Sergei Milinkovic-Savic opened the scoring in the 18th minute before Alexander Mitrovic converted a penalty 7 minutes later, putting Al Hilal ahead by 2 goals at half-time. Salim Al-Dawsari added his name to the score sheet in the 72nd minute before Milinkovic-Savic scored a tap in the 79th minute for Al Hilal's 4th. The home side further deepened Abba's misery when Mohamed Kano slotted in a goal in the 82nd minute, followed by Ruben Neves' remarkable free kick 4 minutes later. Milinkovic-Savic then put the cherry on top for his team as he completed his hat-trick in stoppage time, sealing a 7-0 victory. With the win, Al Hilal remain on top of the standings with 50 points, 13 points ahead of second-placed Al Nassr.
On to the Qatar Stars League. Al Sadd crushed Salal 6-0 on Friday, heading into the league break with a 4-point lead against second-placed Al Waqra.
Gonzalo Plata opened the scoring in the 10th minute and Hassan Al-Haidos followed with their second 4 minutes later. Akram Afif added another goal for the home side in the 18th minute, while Naeem Laiduni's own goal in the 43rd minute put the scoreline at 4-0 at half-time. Right into the second half, Al-Haidos' strike once again found the back of the net before Guilherme Torres wrapped up the dominant victory with the strike in the 69th minute, sealing a 6-0 victory. The win took Al Sadd's tally to 31 points, with Al Waqra and Al Gharafa both having 27 points each.
When we return, man charged with murder from hospital bed. Don't go away.
Ni nampak macam
sedap je. Nak ni lah.
Ini produk terbaru kami, Siu Sepering Cheesy Corn. Nak cuba? Cheesy Corn ni ditabur dengan sebut sepering yang menambahkan lagi rasa kejunya.
Wah, bolehlah. Bagi saya cuba satu. Gabungan super ini memang
Cik belum bayar lagi ni.
Maaf. Terlupa pula.
Dapatkan di Siu sekarang.
Banyak lemak, pasti ramai yang berhadapan dengan masalah itu. Lemak berlebihan boleh menyebabkan pelbagai masalah kesihatan seperti obesiti dan penyakit jantung. Ada setengah orang yang mudah bakar lemak, ada juga yang sukar. Mengapa perkara ini berlaku? Apa pula perbezaan di antara lemak baik dan lemak jahat? Banyak lemak, perbincangannya dalam Hello Doktor Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan stream juga melalui tonton.
Mira nak kongsikan sedikit panduan keselamatan anak ketika di luar rumah. Pastikan keadaan sekeliling, pantau pergerakan anak dan jangan biarkan mereka berkeliaran jauh daripada anda. Elakkan pemakaian barang kemas yang berlebihan. Yang terakhir, boleh bawa whistle bersama. Jerit sekuat hati atau tiup whistle untuk menarik perhatian orang sekeliling sekiranya diganggu atau merasa terancam. Dapatkan pelbagai informasi bermanfaat bersama Nona setiap Ahad jam 2 petang di TV3.
Sound healing, a therapeutic tradition that has found resonance among those seeking balance and energy alignment.
It's like a vibrational massage, you know, and sound travels through water more than 4 times faster than the air. So the human body is made up mostly of water, so it travels right through us.
I think it's really good to explore, you know, the mental workout.
Unlike a guitar, sape, the resonance goes inwards to the player.
TV3 live stream in HD on Tonton.
Thanks for staying with us. A man who was detained by police shortly after hacking a woman to death on Tuesday has been charged with her murder on Friday. No plea was recorded from 29-year-old Ong Kok Bu, who was charged from his hospital bed at the Pulau Pinang Hospital following an unsuccessful attempt at taking his own life.
Ong, who was unrepresented, indicated he understood the charge read out to him. He was accused of killing 42-year-old Lee Yen Swan in front of a shop at Jalan Taman Sintat, Butterworth, at about 10:55 a.m. on December 19th. The charge was framed under Section 302 of the Penal Code. The magistrate set March 25th next year for mention of the case, pending post-mortem and chemist reports. No bail was offered. At about 11:10 a.m. on Tuesday, police were alerted to an incident where a man had hacked a woman with a parang at Jalan Raja Uda. CCTV footage near the scene captured the gruesome act, providing crucial evidence for the case. Following the attack, the suspect attempted to leap off the Penang Bridge, but members of the public intervened. Investigations later showed that the man was the woman's nephew and had acted out of anger.
2 motorcyclists who were on their way to work in Singapore were killed in an accident involving a lorry, a trailer and a bus near the Tanjung Kupang Toll Plaza near Iskandar Puteri, Johor on Friday morning. In the 5:50 a.m. incident, it is understood that the lorry driver lost control of the vehicle due to a brake malfunction before ramming into 4 other vehicles on the left side of the road near the toll plaza.
10 personnel from the Iskandar Puteri Fire and Rescue Station were deployed to the scene after the Johor Fire and Rescue Department received a distress call at 6:04 a.m. The motorcyclists aged 49 and 54 succumbed to severe head and bodily injuries after they were dragged by the lorry during the accident. Iskandar Puteri District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Rahmat Arifin said the remains of the deceased were sent to the Sultanah Aminah Hospital in Johor Bahru for further action. The driver of the trailer, as well as the bus driver and 29 passengers on board the vehicle, escaped unharmed. The 45-year-old lorry driver, however, suffered from chest pain and is receiving treatment in hospital. Rahmat said the police are expected to arrest the lorry driver to facilitate investigation into the case after receiving treatment for his injuries. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act.
This time around, let's take a look at the Ski Cross World Cup held in Venetian, Italy, where the world's best athletes converged on some of the most challenging and breathtaking courses while battling for the title. With that, I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.